All right. So now, today, we're going to have the future food talk. Is so like we are having there is two gentlemen. The one is the Alessandro Fusco. He's from the Future Food Institute Japan directors. So he will talk about what is the future foods, the approaches for the lead generations to making a living lab. And also actually the Dr. Seto, he came all the way from Fukuoka to join for this event today. And he's going to have the another approach of the lead generations throughout the Satoyama and also like a Sato Umi. That's like a how to creating those the environmental issue to be regenerative awareness. So we would like to have the first to have an introduction and also the approaches of the living lab of the future food.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alessandro.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mai, and welcome. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to share our approach, Future Food Institute approach, why we have decided to apply the regenerative model to the society, from rural area to cities, and then also I would love to show and explain what we have here. What are these pictures that are going in loop here, and the connection between art, ingredients, and nature. So we know, everyone knows that food has the power to connect us and to unite us. But we have many challenges. We have many challenges from around the world, local challenges and global challenges. One of that is we need to produce more food to feed a growing population or not. The other point, the other fact is that we will have more and more people living in the cities in the next years. And this is a fact. Megalopoly are going to increase the number of citizens. And we thought that if we want to make a change, if we want to regenerate the society and connect people and nature, we need to leverage on three main areas, from education to education and community. And working all around the world as international ecosystem, we thought and we tested that if we work in silos, if we have only the humans at the center, we cannot achieve a real regeneration. We cannot achieve a real connection between humans, farm, and nature. So at the Future Food Institute, as international ecosystem, we aim to develop models and change the mindset of not only people, but all the citizens in the city, connecting farmers and entrepreneurs and corporations and startups. So we moved our model from human center to human and nature center. And creating model, it's not enough if you don't change the mindset. So having a prosperity mindset, having the prosperity in our mind, approaching all the issues in an integral way, in a very holistic way, supporting local areas and decentralizing decision, decentralizing activities. And we will see also here after with the Mazasan example also how it's important to decentralize. And then act. And all these also these events are one way to act. I will come back later on example of our framework and why it's important. And let me give you more details, because action cannot be realized if you don't have also a physical platform. So having physical platform like living labs can allow us to, and not only us, but everyone, every of us can allow us to make the change. And here we are in Kyobashi Living Lab in partnership with Tokyo Tatemono. And as a Kyobashi Living Lab, we focus on cities. We focus on regenerating the district, activating the locals, and we thought also that, and we found that this the model of regeneration can be achieved if we work together, if we connect different actors, local and globally. And so here we are. But let's move and go to Europe, and especially let's go to Italy, and let's go to a small town in the south of Italy here. Let's go virtually to Pollica, and where we founded the Paideia campus. The Paideia campus, where all the aspects of regeneration, like holistic approach, prosperity mindset, culture, history, are converged into activities, educational activities, innovation activities, and community activities. So in other words, how might we again, I come back to the main question, how might we connect nature, art, culture, history? Our idea, our model is to have a physical place, a campus, where we can host people, where we can allow students work with entrepreneurs, where corporation can join and work with farmers, where fisheries can share their knowledge, their ancient tradition with a global and local community. And the 6 aspects of the campus are history, science and innovation, ecology, biodiversity, conviviality, and art and culture. Because everything is interconnected. Everything is really, really interconnected. And we cannot talk about sustainability, we cannot talk about regeneration if we don't connect all the 6 pillars. And so, and then we will show also an example in Japan about nature. But let me share this fact, because one of the most important message that I want to share is that we are living in a really interconnected world, and the challenges and the issues and also the solutions that are in one part of the world can also be applied in another country. So we shared a lot of information with the Maza-san, and we understood that we are really interconnected. We really need to work together, and connecting park, connecting history, connecting scientific and nutritional information, connecting agriculture, having geopark initiatives connected to the cities, and then again having one model that we call Rareke, that is a local market that can educate young people, whole generation, and can allow the farmers to also to make also let me say to make money from their production, even if because they are in trouble with all the global, with all the issues on agricultural issues and climate change. Last but not least, in order to connect the people around the world, we need to have the center, the well-being and the lifestyle. We need to take care of behaviors of people, and we need to foster citizens to act. We need to help citizens to make decisions and to move towards the direction of sustainability. Closing this part, I would love to share this timeline, and then I would love to also talk about the power of art. As in Japan, we have a lot, very, very ancient history, more than 2,000 years of where our civilization, where philosophy started to be interconnected with food, with health, with well-being, and the first medical school in Europe and the Western country was born in Polica, where we have our campus. And then moving very quickly to jumping the years, we moved to in the 50s, where American researchers started to include facts, data, research with traditions and Mediterranean diet. And moving faster, after a few publications, then Polica became the UNESCO capital of Mediterranean diet. And then again, moving very quickly to our days, what is the other key takeaway? We can make a change if we connect museum, if we bring art outside the museum, not only inside the museum. If we connect the agricultural issue with people and the future studies, then we can really achieve the eat well, stay well, and save the planet, as our initiatives allow us to bring to the world. Closing this, as Japan, we are in lands of longevity, and longevity has the same meaning for around the world, and especially Japan, Italy are strictly interconnected with this. I'm sure that also Maza-san will talk about that. Yeah. Yeah. And so so the model in one slide, the model of regeneration, connected arts, countryside, big cities, farm agriculture is working in very holistic way across 6 areas, from political action to health actions, human, social, cultural, and economical actions. And we went also to international summit like G7, G20, B20 to export and to share this framework. I'm on time, totally too much. No? And let me only share now going to Melissa, let me share one video from here that is start to explain what are these images. Then I will add. Sorry, I don't know why it's green. Okay. Lo strumento microscopico permette di focalizzare l'attenzione visivamente i problemi della perdita di biodiversità agli occhi della comunità. Grazie al Dipartimento di Biologia dell'Università di Padova. We have a subtitle here. Provenienti direttamente da ottica, trasformando queste immagini rappresentative in NFT, non fungibili locali, e aprendo il progetto a nuove date e nuove possibilità. I colori presenti sono il risultato naturale dell'applicazione di tecniche di illuminazione polarizzata che mostra le proprietà ottiche delle strutture cristalline degli elementi, l'estetica più profonda della natura del cibo, a varianti astratte e matematiche che elevano l'immagine del cibo all'arte. So, what is no food tomorrow? What is this? The artist, this Italian artist, in order to share the challenge and the issue of losing biodiversity, decided to take the basic ingredients of Mediterranean diet. They make a microscopic examination, sharing how we are losing biodiversity, and using these images as art installation and going to outside museum. And let me share just a few words that I wrote here. Then the real goal of this No Food Tomorrow Eucarestia is to activate the change, is to create art for the soul, is to impress, is to create some artist representation from what is very, very micro. These are the part of grain, wine, and so and oil. So art installation for representing food, because food is holy. Food is the future, and we need to continue to take care of the future in a quality way, not only quantity. This is why for feeding the people. So we think that connecting art and make the right questions, allow people to have the right questions, could make a change. And then, of course, if you have more questions or so, I will also ask my son to help me in translation and start the Q&A. Well, yeah, thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you, Alessandro, for the introducing for the Living Lab at the Future Food in Kyobashi area, and also what's the activities in what's happening in Future Food in Italy to introduce this No Food for Tomorrow. And now we'd like to have the Dr. Seto to introduce about his activities. And actually, after the both of the presentation, they will going to have the discussion between the Alessandro and then Dr. Seto. And afterwards, we like to have the open to the discussion to the floor to everyone who like to have any questions or like any comment about what your thought about the lead generative approaches for your own activities or your comment. We are very more than happy to have your thought. So first, we're going to have the Dr. Seto's presentation.
Okay. Well, we need to do some preparation here. Alessandro, thank you very much for sharing your work. And well, we already had a lot of keywords: biodiversity, microscopic, macroscopic. Everything is interconnected, and then that's true. And then also that, but we really have to have much higher resolution of what we are seeing, because if we would like to answer a question, we need to have the right question on our hand, right? So observation is really important. And myself is well, I would like to introduce myself. How about that? Yeah. But right, the camera is there, right? Let's switch. Yeah, I'll come over here. What's your note? I didn't make really like a structured talk here because I believe that this talk session's key is actually a lot of parts. When we have like this dialogue and we have this like discussion with you guys and then the people participating online. But so one keyword I'd like to give in my talk is a disturbance. Disturbance has probably in general, it has like a negative meaning. I mean, would you like to have like a lot of disturbances in your life? Probably not. But actually, disturbance is an essential entity to have a very rich and natural environment. So I'd like to talk about the disturbance first, and then I want you to have a little bit different view on the disturbance in your life. And then after that, I'd like to talk about how to connect disturbance to regenerate the natural environment through your daily activity. So again, my name is Masanori Seto, Maso Seto. I have a PhD in entomology, but I would call myself ecologist, educator, and I run a small NPO and one company, so I'm an entrepreneur too. And then, oh yeah, go ahead. Oh, that's good? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because most of the people are participating in Japanese? Yeah, Japanese is fun. Okay. Which one's better? Yeah, fine. But okay, all right. Which one's better? This is fine. Okay. I mean, which way works? So again, but like I do a lot of jobs, and I served as a government commissioner on education too. But my main occupation is a father of four. I live in Fukuoka. It's nearby the seaside, and then I have these 4 beautiful kids here. And what I do daily, one of my major activities is like environmental regeneration. But I'm really focusing on like regenerating the whole mountain, not the very local small area, because especially in Fukuoka, that the mountain and then and the seaside and also the like like a city area is really close together. So we can see the connection between the mountain and the city and the sea really well. So if you can regenerate the mountain area, all the good things actually coming down from the mountain to the sea through the river. And so, like Alessandro was talking about the, like a connecting, everything is interconnected. And then, as an ecologist, I'm really focusing on what I can see on, on the ground and then over the ground, but also in the ground too. Like, for example, this diagram is showing that, how water is interconnected in the mountain. So, that, the water comes from the rain and, we know that, like, on the earth, that the water comes from from always down because of the gravity, but because of the rich forest and the trees, they can actually pull up the water from the ground. And then so this the dynamics of water is really active if the mountain and the forest are rich. So yeah, so this area is, it's too crowded. People planted those old cedar trees, but they leave it. So this is myself. I'm cutting down the trees and then thinning, and then using all those timbers, I make a lot of different structures. One of the problem we have in Japan is all the mountains. We have a rich mountainous area. 70% of our land is mountain, but it seems rich, but it's actually old. As our society is aging, the natural environment itself is aging too. So there is no active the reallocation of the resource, and also there is no the active exchange of the generations of the trees too. So, and then so what happens is, we have a rich, huge trees, but not, there are no following generation of trees or grass or other species. So, and then basically we see the rich forest, but on the ground is like a desert. So I make this kind of structure, and then when we have like a rainwater, there is no if there is no the underground the plants are there, water running from the top to the down very quickly, right? Then they take out all the soils and then take it out and then and then sending it to the sea through the river. Water always running from the high ground to the below ground. So we are making this kind of structure and then making the water run very slowly, so that this kind of structure can contribute to enhance the quality of the soil and also other vegetation too. So this is like, just like 2 weeks of change. We didn't have any single plants on the ground, but we made a structure, and in 2 weeks, the moisture and the water, the soil condition changes, and then all the plants coming out at once. So just one artificial action can change very drastically. So again, I'd like to revisit this term disturbance. So ecological disturbance is we see every day. The big one is like a natural disaster thing. Typhoon, like huge rain, wildfire in the forest, a tsunami, earthquake, any kind. Local disturbances, probably if you stepped on, on some ground and, killed one of the weed, that's a very local, small ecological disturbance you made. But those things happens everywhere in the in the ecosystem, and then because we have this ideal thought that ecosystem sustains itself beautifully, always circulate, always sustainable. Somehow, we believe in so, but the reason that ecosystem is getting richer is because of this disturbance. So let's take a look at this. Probably you learned from a biology class from the high school or something, but this is called ecological succession. So when the earth was formed, we didn't have any trees, we didn't have any life forms at all. But there was a bare rock, and then lichens, koke, and chirui, kind of come in, and then they start to degrade all the huge rocks, and then make it into the storms, and then gradually they make soil. Then grasses can come in, then the perennials, which can live like 2 or 3 years, and then shrubs like short trees, and then the high trees are coming in, and then we see this like a climax forest, which is seems very rich in biomass, but not rich in diversity. And then so ecosystems are not saturating itself. It's always one way. Think about if you take out all the grasses from the garden area right across the street over there, probably in a week or so, new grasses are coming out. Then they will start this process again. So the reason that the ecosystems circulate is because we have some kind of a ecological disturbance. Virginie, could you go to the next slide? So like say, as I said, if we have a wildfires, this is like abiotic, non-biological thing, right? Fire comes in. Or if we have a huge amount of like grasshoppers or worms are coming out, and they eat all the foliages, that's a biological ecological disturbance. And then any kind of a disturbance can create space or possibility for another species to come in, and then they reach start this process again. So the ecological ecosystem goes one way, but because of the disturbance, it kind of comes back to some point, and then go and come and go and come. So as a result, just as a consequence, it seems like they are circulating. And then seems like the next slide, please. Seems like Japanese people kind of traditionally understand this kind of a process, or probably people observe it really well, because I would say Satoyama is a masterpiece of artificial control of nature. When we see this, this kind of like a Satoyama view, beautiful Tanada, rice field is there. They say, oh, this is so, rich in nature, but everything is artificial here. We see the forest, planted by people. But because there is a human intervention, the ecological richness, what we call, is much higher than its natural state. So because people are there, because people live there, we have much more diverse and rich environment in this. So that's why that, like agriculture is environmental disturbance. Building a house is environmental disturbance. Cutting a tree and planting a tree, that's another ecological disturbance. So disturbance is really not a bad thing. If we have make a, like a good decision making, and then also we know the whole nature and the characteristic, the whole nature, we can employ some kind of the disturbance as a very good tool to make the our natural environment richer. And that's good. Okay. So well, at the beginning I was talking about Japanese forests and the mountains are really collapsing right now, because again they are all old. Most of the mountains were disturbed by human activity as a part of a Satoyama environment. But nowadays, we don't need forests to cook our meal. We don't have to go to the mountain and cut down trees and get the timbers. We don't have to do it to build a house. The nature is really far, far, far away from our daily life. So, but I'm not telling you that, okay, then we really should go back to the lifestyle in Edo era, Edo Jidai's life. No, that's not what I'm saying. But as I said, but it doesn't change that nature becomes richer if we relate to it, if we can bring in some kind of disturbance to it. So even in our modern life, as Alessandro was talking about, in his presentation, that city, food, nature needs to be connected. So we really have to reestablish the new connection of our modern life and then cities, like an ecosystem and natural ecosystem. Let's see. Okay. Disturbance can create like super, super beautiful view too. This is all artificial. This is the area called Yoshino in Nara. Do you know the Yoshino pilgrimage? It's called Hitome Senbon, Sanzenbon, which means one eyesight can capture 1,000 cherry blossom trees. And then you are surrounded by 3,000 cherry blossoms. Actually, even more cherries are planted. Nobody's paid for it, but the Japanese people established a relationship between human beings' life and the mountain as a god. So the climbing the mountain is not a sport. Climbing mountain is a part of the daily life of worshiping the surrounding environment. So they climb the mountain, but when they do so, they always bring one seedling of the cherry blossom. And then if they see some kind of space, they plant. And as a result, it's a super ecological disturbance because, these cherry blossoms are basically invasive species. They are destructing this environment, but they plant the trees and then, then make this like a beautiful, beautiful cherry blossom environment. So this is another disturbance, but again, because of that disturbance, people can still have this special connection with their daily life and this environment. So, all kinds of when we talk about like biodiversity, people say, okay, even when we are running a company or human ecosystem, diversity is important. And people try to design how diverse the society should be, how diverse the company should be. But diversity is a result. Diversity is a consequence of what happened before. So if, when people are like anthropomorphize, gijinka, the nature, they always say that, each organism has this mindset to contribute to others, altruistic, 利他的な attitude. But actually, to me, as I observed the natural environment in a global scale, I've never seen even one single organism that is altruistic or originally symbiotic. They are selfish as ourselves, right? Like each human being, each organism, every single dog, every single cat, they are selfish. They are 100% active to live their own life. And then this selfishness is kind of like, our nature. But in the, last 4.6 billion of, Earth's history, every, the living organisms have tried every single possibility. So, the dragonfly, tombo, dragonflies, the modern dragonflies has only 2 sets of wings, but we used to have 3 sets of winged dragonfly in the, a dinosaur era. So they try every single possibility, and then, they try to live their own life. But sometimes your selfish acts as a result contribute to somebody's good. And then do you guys know the ants and aphids? アリとアブラムシ? They have this symbiotic relationship. But I'm pretty sure there were ants that were feeding on aphids itself. But aphids are taking all the juice from the plants, and they secrete all the excess as a honeydew. And then one of the ants find out that, okay, their pee and poo seems very nutritious and beneficial for us. And then they start to harvest on it. Probably at the time there is ants that directly feed on the aphids, but somehow in this natural selection process, the species that can establish this symbiotic relationship survive. So everything is consequences. All the acts I do in the mountain, as I shown, and in the first half of my talk, I am not sure if that is the really right thing to do, but nature always responds to it. Nature tells me if it's right or not. And then the photo I showed was, I made a structure. A week later, plants came out. So, okay, that was right. But at some other area, when I do the same thing, nothing happened. So I made different structure to it. So we really cannot design the answer. We really cannot design the right process, because the ecosystem is filled with possibility. And then if we can leave more possibilities, in the environment, the new connection might happen, and then some connection might die, but as you said, as you said in your talk, everything is interconnected. So that means to increase the possibility of human being survival and also that the planetary health, what we need to do is increase the possibility. So if your being or you're doing your action or you're living your like a daily life is, if it is a good disturbance, that means you leave more possibilities around the environment. So I would say, let's embrace the disturbance. Don't be afraid to take action, but taking action is not the end. You have to take action, but that's a start. And then if you take action, your being and the living life becomes will generate the possibilities. And you have to keep watching it. You have to keep watching what's going to happen. So you take action, you generate the possibilities, and then nature will tell you which ones are right. So the last message in my talk is be careful. Be careful all the time, because care means you look thoroughly with high resolution, because care and the cure comes from the same origin. So if I'm careful enough, I care you. If I'm careful enough for you guys, I care you. And then, so if you try to design how to care people, but people are diverse, so my way of caring might not work for you, but Virginie's caring might work for you. So we need to have as many possibilities as possible all the time. And then that's why we are here. And then so if we can leave more possibilities in this world, then, nature would say, oh, okay, it's good to have human beings because dogs cannot do this kind of disturbance. So that's how we can, establish the symbiotic relationship. So probably I should stop here, and we can incorporate this kind of talk into your food society kind of things. So probably too conceptual, but yeah, thank you very much. You would like to switch, right?
Thank you very much, Dr. Seto, for such a thought-provoking ideas and a perspective. So now it's going to be the discussion between the Alessandro and then Dr. Seto. And then there's a many points. There is like a cross culture, but at the same time, I find that like both of you the talk, it is some sort of like the keyword and the disturbance, and also like it's also the interconnections, and also like that's like those disturbance can be referred as design. So of course, in like a city and also like a living lab, like you are designed to create this kind of the disturbance, and then like yourself, Dr. Seto, you are showing like those beautiful Satoyama and then Satoumi. They are all made by like the artificial,
right?
Those like designed by the selfish human beings. So I'd like to ask both of your perspective, particularly Dr. Seto mentioned at the last about there's many possibilities, and also we need to listen to the natures to respond to the answers, how to find this design or the disturbance to continue developing this ecosystem. So can I ask the same question to both of you to elaborate this perspective? And then maybe afterwards, so like we're going to have all the questions and answers from the floor. So we are very happy to have any questions. 皆さんの質問、どんなことでもいいので、今日の話から感じたことやご自身が常に関わっている、どのようにエコシステムを作っていくとか、それがどうリジネレーティブアプローチになっているかっていうことについても、もちろん喜んで彼らが答えようと思いますので、お願いします。So let me come back to so let me so maybe Alexander, would you like to ask to find your comment?
Yeah. I think that disturbance create symbiotic relationship will be the key. And in our experience, in my experience, what I see is that if we allow people to experience, to live, to fully embrace the power of nature, the power of agricultural environment, the power of oceans, that moment we saw and we see the click we see in the people life, in the people mind, how they react to the nature, and how also farmers and fishermen take care. Talking about care, they take care of what they do of the nature. In that moment, we saw and I saw how they change their mindset, how they change the connection, and they come back to the city. They come back to their life, daily life, changed. So be careful. I will add also be provocative. This is what I will add on that, because you in the meantime you take care. You can also in another way you can shake the consciousness, and you can shake their mind, provoking new thoughts. Because in this model, especially in this life, in this era, if we want to change things, we need to do it quickly, and be provocative is also another, I think, another way to that we think that we should do, and yeah, connected also with the No Food Tomorrow, with the aim of provoke through heart. Yeah,
I think, as you said that, like if people try something new, that can be a very small disturbance. But again, like, I mean, y'all, thank you very much for coming. And then, and then what your guys have in your mind is already changed, because you really cannot go back to the point before you heard our talk. And then it's not like, like we are talking about a good thing or a bad thing. It doesn't matter. We are telling you something different, and throwing that idea, throwing the new words or keywords to you, and then that provokes like new thoughts in each of you. And then people sometimes do not like it, right? Because people do not want to change. But if we start to embrace the disturbance, like something different, people often try something different within their daily life. Okay, we I should do something new today, some kind of thing. But it doesn't create much of the possibilities that can connect with others, or that expands to, you know, outside of the your own environment. But, you know, you are changing every day. You are aging every day. Environment changes every day. Social conditions, social status changes every day. You know, it never stays same. And then, so actually your life is always disturbed by the fact that the world is constantly changing. So if you start to reject or negate the changes or disturbance, you will get rid of yourself out of the world, you know, out to the world, you know, by yourself. And then that makes your life even more difficult to live. So I would say that, you know, and then again, you know, when you guys are having this, the project start is always food. That is great, because we have to eat every day. Everybody has to eat every day. And then, you know, and the food is has culture itself, and also we can share our experience very easily. You know, I can tell you how good my mom's cake yesterday. Actually, my mom is a patissier, so, you know, and then, you know, yeah, so yesterday, actually, I was in Tokyo, and then, you know, I was helping my mom's patisserie. So, you know, I was surrounded by this beautiful cake, and then, you know, I can tell you, but if I brought her cookie here, or, you know, her cake here, I really should have done so, but, you know, I can share this my experience so easily. So food is a you know, like a really good, I would say, tool, you know, to actualize, you know, what we talked today.
Thank you very much for both of your very fleeting comment. And then I wish I could taste the tabs of tatam too.
I really should have.
Yeah.
I really should have.
Yeah, but that's still that's something we find that there's something in bottom lines, the common things as like the food, as like a human nature, as like how to grow, and also how to, of course, not to be afraid of those the change. And also like it comes to the perspective of like a circulation, and also like particularly like a regenerations, because like it is like I just often wonder like back in the 700 years ago, like in Italy, you are having those like Renaissance like revolutions. I think like regeneration is something like a very similar perspective, but back in like 700 years ago, those Renaissance is much more the human centered. But now, like a 22, I mean, almost like a 22 centuries, like a 21st century now, like as the Dr. Seto mentioned, like how is the regeneration is particularly like it comes to the natures, and also like all everything is interconnected between the natures and the human, which is we cannot ignore, particularly for like what's those the climate saving, and also like how is the crisis is upcoming, and it's like those like ecosystem what you're talking about in the natures, how we have to be careful and also discreetly listen how we can care. So I like to come back to the questions, like both of your activities about the regeneration approaches, and then what would you like to care the most for maybe next 1 or 2 years, particularly? Yeah.
Well, I will say life, because at the end, focusing or here, I don't want to put too much global challenges, but I think that the next main topic is life, how we can really allow people to live a qualitative life with food, with the society. How might we improve well-being? How might we have more healthy people with healthy food? So the connection between healthy society, well-being, food, everything again is interconnected. And but if we have life at the center, and life not only human life, I mean life of the organism and birds and every life, if we take care of life, and if we connect the life with all the aspects, then we can really achieve what we aim. And yeah, so be care of life, provoking, and making connection through ecosystem. So this is my summarizing in one sentence my thought.
Probably my focus would be diversity, biodiversity. Like, so like every day we might lose 100 to 200 species we have never seen because of the over deforestation in Amazon and then other areas. Because biodiversity is probably the most representative entity of the possibility I talked about. So, and then like, because in Fukuoka, I go up the mountain and also, I surf in the sea, I dive into, I enjoy diving too. So that's part of my job, I always have to care and careful to look at all the environments. The desertification of the sea is like rapidly expanding. So on the land, in the sea, we are like globally speaking, we are basically living on the desert, and then probably in Japan, and then Italy. Like originally we have very diverse food culture. I think longevity of the human being can be explained only one superfood. Eating different things, diverse diet options. Those things are really important. But like say fermented food, nowadays it's produced in a like a manufacturing company, so they are using one single species of microbe to ferment, natto or other stuff. But let's think about the microbial world. The microbiologists estimate of how many species of microbes survive in the earth right now is 10 to the 12th 10の12乗 species are there. That's what people say. And so how many microbes do you guys, each of us, have nurture in the body? Do you know that? 10 to the 14th. 10の14乗引き. And globally speaking, on the earth, we have 10 to the 30th. So nano trillion or something like that. 10 to the 30th of the microbes are running this earth. So microbes have, as a species, they have, many possibilities already. But human beings really do not have that, such diversity. So our survival is really depends on other species diversity. So we really have to be humble to that point. And then, of course, like carbon dioxide, global warming, all kinds of things that, we always have to care about it. But to me, the biodiversity represents the potential and the possibilities of a survival. So I would like to focus on that part. Yeah.
Wow, that's a very enlightening perspective. Thank you so much for both of your comment. So now we like to have the questions from the floors. If anyone like to have any questions, or anyone from the Zoom, if you have a questions, 日本語でももちろんご質問いただけましたら回答いたしますので、よろしかったらこのお二人がお話しなさった事柄、so if there's anything like what they had given the presentation, then any comment or just any your own activities related to their comment or the presentations, or more than happy to have どなたでもご質問やコメントがありましたらぜひお願いいたします。いかがでしょうか。はい、じゃあお願いします。May I have your name and then 日本語でもちろん、はい、お願いします。お名前と、もしよろしければ、どのような活動をしているか。
荒尾大輔と申します。今日二人ともありがとうございました。Very inspirational, and it was really helping me to sort of conceptualize what I'm thinking every day and trying to do. You mentioned about these, importance of disturbance and biodiversity, and also change of mindset. And I'm working on a food waste recycling using an insect, and then not only producing the insect protein, but also trying to use the insect manure for us to sort of help our community to utilize it. I think one of the reasons we have this enormous problem is just disconnecting from the nature and creating the concept of waste. That our mindset is that if we don't use it, we can just throw it away. And then I think that is my sort of problem with the insect technology developing currently. Insect technology is really focusing on creating animal feed to making the industry more sustainable, but not really focusing on what insect roles and what's responsibility of human to use insect technology to sort of helping this planet more sort of livable and sustainable. I just wanted to ask you, what's the role of human in using waste? To sort of support your sort of ideas of making this planet more sustainable, and also I really understand the importance of food to think about the sustainability and human, but equally we also don't know much about soil, and that's really the key things that we need to learn and enrich. And I love the idea of disturbance and intentional intervention to make the biodiversity more rich by human. And I think we really need to use the waste and then enrich the soil microbiodiversity. And just wanted to learn from you what you think about how human can use waste and make the biodiversity more rich. Thank you.
Can I go first? I think Alessandro will talk about more food stuff. So I would like to share what I thought through your question is so you mentioned about the soil, and then so again, that we really have to be careful about the words we normally use, because when we say soil, probably the image of soil I have in my mind and you have in your mind is so different. We are using the same word, but we are not talking about the same thing. That kind of things happens. And then the soil is, we can say soil is biotic, but also soil is abiotic. Water is biotic, and water is also the abiotic, because depending on how microscopic or how macroscopic you see the soil or water, you can consider it as a biological entity or non-biological entity, because soil definitely gives a structure to this land. The concretes, bricks, all kinds of things are coming from the soil. So, but again, this brick has so many porous area where microbes can live. So as a whole, probably I would consider it as a biological entity. So when we talk about the waste, I think again, we need the careful examination and observation of the waste. Are we going to talk about this waste as a biological entity or non-biological entity? Because as I show you that, my regeneration technique, I do not bring in any materials outside of the mountain. So when I climb up the mountain, if there is a stones or rocks there, not in the soil, on the ground, probably it coming, down from some top area. I pick it up and bring it up, and I also pick up the fallen leaves. I pick up the branches, and then I replace them in some other places. So the amount of resource there didn't change at all, but I reallocate. I change the place where I put those branches or stones and rocks and leaves and stuff. So for probably like a trail runner, the stone I pick it up is a waste. But for me, it's a resource. So probably it might not be wise for us to use the word waste, at the first hand, because after the very detailed examination of the object, then if there is no way to use it as a resource, probably we can say it as a waste. But in Japan, the company called Ishizaka Sangyo in Saitama Ken, she is, I say 98.8% of the recycling rate of all the industrial waste. And also that, there are quite a few people who are using the same technique as myself. And then, they do the gardens and then the regeneration of the gardens or parks, but they bring in so much rocks. And where those rocks are coming from, parks becomes much better environment. The water is circulating, air is circulating, regenerative environment happens. But where are those resources coming? From the mountain, somewhere in Japan. So to make one environment better than, the current status, probably we are making other environmental destruction other places. So I think we have enough resource here. So I use a lot of, I reuse a lot of, those construction waste and stuff in the mountain too, actually. But I need to, have a careful examination of it, because I do not want to bring in something really bad, that lasts a really long time. But if I can consider, the part of this building as a nice concrete or rock, I can use it. So I think, I don't know if I'm answering your question well, but I would say that, the first step is we really should stop using the word waste, because our first hand question should be, how can we use it? How can we utilize it? So that's my question. That's my answer.
I will keep the flow. I will keep the flow because you anticipated one, two thoughts. We have waste, taking last your words, waste and humans. And I love to say that, and I take resources because it was my connection to waste, human resources. And I think we believe that the only way to use waste is to see waste as a resources that can create a new value, and we can call these the waste dormant resources. I mean, resources that are there, but only who has the lens or the right mindset or the right lens to see these resources can create value. And we need to, everyone have the lens. We only need to train ourselves and other people to use lens, new mindset, and new way to see the waste as resources. So, and this is true for everything. We can see resources where people don't see resources. Not only food waste, everywhere. We can see garbage and waste everywhere. And so trying to share, communicate the concept of dormant resources and be focused on creating value from nothing. This is what we believe, and I believe. Let me add one thing more. In this way, following this flow, we can create something new, but is really new. Maybe not, maybe something that already exists. We are only connecting the dots. We are again only connecting things into the ecosystem, and keeping the flow. We arrive also to the concept of innovation. We arrive to the concept of innovation where using a new lens, new mindset for creating value, creating the new. At the end, we are creating something that maybe already exists, maybe existed in the past, maybe during the Renaissance in Italy, maybe during the Edo period. We only to be open to see value where other people don't see value, and help each other.
Did they answer your sort of the question to be answered, or yes? Do you have any additional comment? Would you like to share? ありますか？いいですか？はい、わかりました。ありがとうございます。他の方はいかがですか？もし日本語でももちろん喜んでお受けしたいんですけれども。指名してもよろしいですか？なんか目が合ってしまったので、もしよろしければ。
OK すみません、日本語で。はい。横浜の公立小学校で働いています。石川と言います。すごい面白い方です。あまり英語得意じゃなくて半分ぐらいの理解だったと思うんですけど、子どもたちに 食べることの大切さとか、農業とか、自然に対してもっともっと関心持ってもらいたいなと思いながらも、どうしても日々目の前の教科書とともにしか勉強をほぼしてない状況があって、もっともっと外に出て今の話のようなことを小さい頃からしていれば、絶対に大人になった時にそういったことに関心をもっともっと持つような日本人が増えるんじゃないかなと思いながら、去年から復興庁になって授業を持たなくなったので、なんか学校全体でそういう取り組みを、公立学校でできるとしたら面白いなと思いながらも、そこに手をつけられずにいるんですけど、なんかそういった点でアイデアがあれば教えていただきたいです。
So let me briefly translate what he mentioned. So actually, he's the school teacher. Actually, he's the vice president of the public primary school in Yokohama. And then actually, he had a very inspired by the both of your perspective, and also if there is the opportunity for those children, they could have learned this kind of the lessons from their very beginning of their early life. What is the importance of how to eat well, and also agricultures, this kind of the perspective what you discussed about the natures. However, because of the daily life, we have many things they have in the certain curriculum provided by the from the government, and then we have to follow. So that's why we wanted to see, is there any ideas or any sort of the opportunity from the public school can be provided. So maybe Dr. Seto, you doing the K-12 educational program for the Satoyama and Satoumi. So may I have your opportunity, the idea first?
僕、日本語で答えたらいいですか？ありがとうございます。石川さんだろうなと思ってずっと見てたんですけど。僕が一個やっていた活動としてはですね、旧の暦、つまり太陰暦ですね。昔の日本の暦、Japanese like a lunar calendar using that。で、実際に行事をやっていくっていうのがあります。で、いわゆる今の新暦のカレンダーで、春の七草を1月7日に探そうとしても、競りぐらいしか見つからないんですね。で、大体、2月の上旬から中旬ぐらいに、いわゆるその1月7日が旧暦で来るんですけど、そうすると見事に田んぼのあぜとかでですね、見つかるんですね。で、結局、その、フードカルチャーというか食の文化っていうものも非常に部分的にイベントとして都合よく僕らが残してしまったので、その日々の生活と季節と食というのが実は全然つながってないというのが日本の現状だというふうに思っています。ですから、おそらく今おっしゃってた問題っていうのは、児童の方たちだけではなくて、僕ら大人もおそらく1月7日になんで食べるのってで、とりあえずスーパー、コンビニで仕事帰りに買って多分食べてると思うんですよ。でも、何の意味もなくて、まだ体は七草を食べる状態になってないんですよね、その時に。苦味がちゃんと体に効いてくるのっていうのは、もっとその前に食べてたかぼちゃのビタミン A がもっと減少してきて、春の訪れで、いわゆるスプリングビターと言われる春の苦味っていうものが、体を春に向けてアクティベートするために、あるんですね。そういった実感を伴ったフード食文化っていうものを、実は僕らもほとんど体験していないというのが、 今の日本の現状だと思います。ですから子どもたちにというよりも、もうこれは学校単位で教職員の方も子どもたちも一緒にその土地の旬っていうものを1年間旧暦で追っかけるっていうことをするだけで大きく、改善できるんじゃないかなというふうに思います。難しいですよね。ごめんなさい。旧暦で追いかけるですね。土地の旬。はい。はい。そうです、そうです。クラシカルをジャパニーズカレンダーでやるということですね。
So, Alexander, so basically, the Dr. Seto answered like what is in the lessons what they can do in the daily life is to follow the classic lunar calendars. As you might know, like there is like the current those like how do you call it the 西暦ですよね、西暦。the AD not the So is it following? Yeah. So like coming back to like there is like those lunar calendars. What the ancient like like a period of the yeah.
No. Like on January 7th, like Japanese people eat the porridge with 7 different vegetables. That's called nanaksa. But we used to eat it at that event is basically based on this like ancient lunar calendar. So that actually happens in the middle of February. But we can buy all those vegetables at the convenience store on January 7th of the modern calendar, right? But if you go to the field, you can never find those 7 vegetables and the plants in the field. But if you go to the like a rice field in middle of February, when such event should happen, then you can find them everything. And then that kind of a calendar really was in accordance with the change of our body, because we take all the like we take lots of pumpkins before the winter, take up all the vitamin A's, and that depletes over the winter. And once the spring comes, the spring bitter really stimulates that. Oh, okay, that the spring comes. We should switch the body. Food and the environment was such kind of a event, but I think not only the children, I said that, not only the children, but also the adults and then, teachers and adults never experienced, such like the food culture. So I suggested that, probably it's easy for like a whole school, live in accordance with those like Asian lunar calendar, and also the peak of all the vegetables and fruits at the season.
Yeah. Summarizing my thoughts, because very good. Also, your question is very, very good. Let's start saying that I believe, and we believe at Future Food Institute, that children are the new agents, are the people of the future. This is nature, no? So we need to start from with the children, working with the children, the kids, teaching them, and bring them outside school, bring them to the field trip, field experiences, and using hands. So connecting hands with the mind, with the topics, of course, of the school. So our experience and the tools that we use, that we bring, we put the campus, the school, into the field, into the agricultural field. Thank you. And here's one example. of especially what I shared before in the campus in Polica in Italy, where we allow the grandmother, grandfather, they have the traditions to work and to hug kids and children, and as a starting point. But then work as I was saying, work with all the layers of the society, with all the people, including teachers, because we every time, and again, and also in this campus where okay, these kids, but also you can see the teachers that also make a change through experience. So again, we need to not focus only with this one sector of the society, but with all the aspects and people of society, teachers, president, vice president, and kids.
補足だけに申し上げますと、こちらの先ほどアレクサンドラが紹介していましたイタリアの南イタリアにあるポリカという村というか町なんですけれども、約2000人ほどの地域がありまして、そこがユネスコのジオパークの指定された地域の一つでもあり、そしてその地域自体が先ほどのアレクサンドラの説明によりますと、そのイタリアの中、ヨーロッパの中で医学部が最初に始まったところの一つなんです。でそれが実は地中海食という食のあり方にも関わっていたり、またそこから長寿っていう考え方っていうものもすべてつながってきているっていう町でもあるんです。で、そちらの地域を実は私たちフューチャーフードは指定管理という立場で関わることによって、で、この町そのものをそのキャンパスに見立てて、そこで今年の夏も、イタリア全国の中学生が毎週何百人も訪れて、そこでこういう科学と食に関わるキャンプというものを約12週間ぐらいやってたんですけども、でちょうど地域的に言うと、ここにバジニさんが映ってます。ここがいわゆる漁村でもあるんですね。そのいわゆるいわゆるアンチョビのような、いわゆるイワシのような青魚もよく取れるところでもありますし、そのオリーブオイルも取れるっていう、そういう場所でもあるので、その地中海食の食のあり方というものを学ぶということを実体験を通じて行っていくっていうこと、そして先ほどの、アレクサンドラが手を使ってということを言ってましたけども、その実はこの地域で2000年前から使われている、そのいわゆる漁師の手法というものを用いて、そのいわゆる大量に取りすぎないっていうこともそうですし、どのようにその地域でその食のあり方が生き方そのものをどう伝えていくかっていうこと、またそれが考古学の文とか、先ほどのバイオダイバーシティという生物多様性というところの部分も全部ここの地域に行くと学べるっていう、そういうプログラムがあるので、その地域そのものを丸ごと活用する形で、どのように、しかもここの地域の公立の小学校から高校までの学生さんたちも巻き込みながら、アレクサンドラが言ってたような、一つの立場の人間だけではなくて、さまざまな立場の方たちが関わることによって、その今まで見えてなかったものをどのように一緒に実体験でつながっていくかということを一緒に考えているという活動をしているんです。はい。あとですね、ぜひ、いやぜひ、こういう、本当に、こちらのイタリアの子どもたちもそうですけども、世界中からもこちらの地域に、関心を特に、EU の中の、やはりこういう、いわゆる限界集落がどのようにリジェネラティブに開発していくことができるかということの、一つのロールモデルにもなっている地域でもありますので、そういう点で世界中のさまざまな先ほどの1950年代からアメリカの医師の方、お医者さんたちがその長寿点から研究してたということもそうなんですけども、今はいわゆる地球そのものをどう考えていったらいいかというエコロジカルアプローチというものを 今日のアレクサンドロのプレゼンでもありましたけど、そういう点で見たときに、こちらはその現場として学べるという場所にもなっているんです。なので、ぜひ、来年の4月ぐらいにもいろいろプログラムをこちらでも考えているので、よかったらご一緒ください。もしよかったら、あと数分残っているので、よかったらコメントいただいてもよろしいですか？なんか、
株式会社ネギデの田中と申します。よろしくお願いします。全然英語がわからないで Google 翻訳でなんとか聞いてて、なんとなくしか分かってないんですけど、でも最近、ネギ作ってて、今年の9月っていうのがすごくネギにとってはとてつもない時期で、で、それで、いろんな各地、日本のいろんなところでネギを作ってるんですけど、今回は長野の農家さんだけ生き残って、その長野のずっと往復をしていたんですよ、東京とは。で、それをやってる時にずっと考えてたのが、飲食店の人は、やっぱりネギって欠かせなくて、ラーメンにはやっぱネギ入れなきゃ、もう日本のスパイスみたいな感じでネギ入れて、全然味変わっちゃうので、ネギ入れなきゃいけなくて、足りないんだけども、でも日本中でネギがなくなってて、だけどそれを理解してもらえないで、でも温暖化ですごい、1ヶ月ぐらい猛暑はさらに続いてっていう状況が続く中、いろんな青山のマルシェとか、いろんなマルシェにも出店はしていてて、だけど、なんかもうちょっとそういう、地球を感じるような、販売の仕方じゃないかもしれないんですけど、ワークショップだったりとかそういうのを含めて、なんか今後そういうのをどうやって外に向けて、伝えていく、やり方はないのかなっていうのを今回、この、なんかネットでこの情報を知ったときに、英語だけどなんかとりあえず乗り込んでみるかみたいな感じで来ました。
ありがとうございます。
でも、すごいいいヒントが。
誠にありがとうございます。So, so let me just日本、ちょっと英語で、so let me, so he is the one that the producer for the green onion. His company is also selling the green onion across, producers from across Japan. And then actually because of the heat wave in Japan this summer, it was, dramatically, it was the decrease the harvesting of the green onion in Japan. So particularly only Nagano prefectures was a kind of survival area, and the rest of those different production site are very devastated. So because of this kind of and also they also selling at the marché at the in Aoyama in front of the United Nations universities, and then they also wanted to promote what is those the very meaningful way of the production is something we cannot take it for granted, but how we can face, and also how we can sort of giving the good literacy of those consumers, what is happening, those the global warming, and also those those the producer of the agricultures are facing this kind of the challenges. So that was the reason when he find this event by the website, he just because of he find challenges of the language barrier. However, he saw that he took his as a courage, and also he came to join the meeting today. ありがとうございます。So maybe if you like to give some the insight about any sort of the approaches for how we can
especially how much we communicate or
communicate, and because the consumers and then buyers do not understand why the green onions are basic of a like a table food, and then why you guys cannot produce it? It's easy kind of thing. So he couldn't. He really suffered to to establish the mutual understanding. The global warming is happening. The climate was not in accordance with the good production year.
Another good question, and also very difficult question, because this is also, I can say this is true, this how much we communicate and enhance knowledge and awareness in the consumer is key all around the world. And I will say, I will share two thoughts. The first one also connected to what we were saying at the beginning. So provoke, create communication that provoke people, that share the facts as it is, and through a storytelling. So create a storytelling, sharing that we have the problem. Onions, we are losing this production due to climate change. So make communication that is strong and provocative, using arts, using design, using manifesto, using the tools. There are many tools. And the other thing, thought that I forgot, sorry. The other thought, I forgot. Please go ahead.
今彼が言って、アレクサンドロが言ってたことは、最初の彼のコメントの中にも、プロボーク、そのいわゆる、挑戦的にこう自分の本当に今の現状っていうものがどれだけ真剣に大変な時期なのかっていうことについて、どのようにこう物語として伝えていくことをしていくか。それがそのいわゆる消費者であったりとか、生産者の苦労であったりとか、その販売なさるっていうその立場から、どのように様々な方たちに伝えていくことができるかっていうことを実践していくのはいかがでしょうかっていうふうに、彼は、そんなにたやすいことではもちろんないとは思うんですけども、でも現状、実情をご存知でいらっしゃるからこそ、その真実を伝えることのできる立場という意味では、その物語として伝えていくという、そういう使命を実践していただくのはいかがでしょうかというようなことを言ってました。あと、なんか今思い出したので。
The second thought was, maybe is it at the opposite, but is empathy. What I mean, in order to allow people to understand, to educate, bring them to the side production, to the agricultural field, and show them. And so if we break the barrier between the hand of the consumer, the hand of the chain, with the beginning of the chain, if you break this barrier and we create empathy with the issue, with the problem, then is automatically you are creating emotions and feeling about it.
今もう一つ思い出したということを言ってたのは、共感力を高めるということなんですね。それは何かというと、例えばその生産者の皆さんが今どのような状況に置かれているかっていう、その現場を訪れるという、そういうフィールドツアーのようなものを企画して、そこで現地、その生産者の皆さん、農家の皆さんがどのような状況で、どのようなご苦労が毎日あってっていうことを、様々な消費者の方が一緒に行けるような機会というものを作ってみると、そうすることによって、実際にどのような場所で毎日私たちが当たり前のように食べているその長ネギというものがどうあるかってことを伝えることができるっていうではないでしょうかということを言ってました。で、すみません、さっきの話したで、続きなんですけど、どのようにその物語を伝えていくかっていうときに、先ほどこちらの動画でご覧になっていただいたように、ノーフードトゥモローっていうふうに、これから食のどのような危機があるかっていうのを、こういうデザインによる動画、デザイン性の高い動画であったりとか、そのマニフェストというか、言葉で伝えていくっていう、そのような、形で、ご自身が、現状を知っているからこそ、真実をご存知だからこそ伝えていくっていうことをやっていくっていうのが、その生産者の方たちの状況をも含めて、なんか伝えていく立場としてご活躍なさるのはいかがですかっていうことを言ってました。はい。じゃあ、瀬戸先生からもお願いします。
アートを使ってって話も言っていて、なんか毎日普通に見られるものが、あると、僕らはなんか普通に甘えてしまうじゃないですか。なんかもう、スーパー行ってネギがないとか、みたいな、大丈夫小売りのバイヤーとかってやっぱ思っちゃうんですけど、でも本当に今年の夏とかは、僕も農業昆虫学っていうところでやってて、それこそ玉ねぎとかネギのもずっとやってたので、 もう僕はやっぱそういう経験があるから、毎日のこの気温とかがすごい具体的な経験にこう考えに結びつくんですよね。この時期になると植え付け、野菜の植え付け大変だろうなとかってなんか具体的に思うんですよね。でもそこまでいける人ってなかなかいないので、僕は今日のトークのところでもどうやって自然っていうものと今のこの日常の生活を結びつけていくかっていう、そういう仕組みを考えなきゃなっていうのをお伝えしたんですけど、さっき多分田中さんの現場を、どうやって身近に持ってくるかみたいなことだと思うんですね。で、友人がそれこそいわゆるペットボトルで、あれですね、ペットボトルのボトルで、稲を育てるとか、そういうのをやってるんですけど、なんかそれこそ買いに来てくれた人に、ネギの種を3粒渡して、で、ちょっとこれペットボトルのやつに巻いてみてよ、みたいな感じで、それを、ベランダに置いておいて、どうなっていくかみたいなことですよね。普段だったら結構たやすいはずのことが、なんかちょっと暑すぎるのかなとか、なんでこんな黄色くなるんだろう。そうか、これ窒素足りないんだとか、リンがないんだとかって言って、話で聞いてしまうと、言葉だけで聞いてしまうと、実感がないんですよね。でやっぱりさっきの暦の話もそうなんですけど、やっぱり手触りがある状況をどう作っていくかっていうのは、この食の時にすごく大事で、僕ら消費者は、生産者の現場を知らない人たちが多いから、このネギがうまいかうまくないとか、なんかまた10円高くなったとか、そういうところしか見ない、表現しないので、非常に多分、苦しい状況にあられるなっていうのはすごく、なんか僕もそちら側の立場に立っていた時もあるので、すごく思うんですけど、なんか、どうやって共有していくかっていう時に、やっぱり物に触れてもらうっていうのは大事だと思いますね。だからやっぱり土に植わってるネギをちゃんと見たことがある人は実はほとんどいないですね。抜かれて袋に入ってる状態のもの。つまり僕らは食材というリアルを見てるような気がしているけれども、その生命のリアルは見てないということですね。だからそれだけリアリティっていうものが、実は手触りがある状態では、なかなかこの生活の中にないので、なんか育ててみるとかっていうような仕組みを、それこそ少し持ち込むとかっていうのはありなのかなっていうのはちょっと思いました。難しいと思うんですけど。
So Alexander, basically, the Dr. Seto was talking about those green onion in Japan, you can find every supermarket. We can take it for granted. However, of course, because of this kind of the conditions of what's happening in this past summer was such a heat wave and so on. So it may be it's not easy to develop the empathy. Then the Dr. Seto was giving one suggestion is giving the seeds of the green onion to each individual consumers, and then they can grow themselves in their garden. I mean, even in the pet bottle. So then how they can start doing to experience your own, to giving a sort of to finding that they nurture themselves. Yes. はい。じゃあ、もしよかったら最後に、もしよろしければ、今回の、今日のイベントのコメントでも結構ですし、質問でも。
なんか都内に住んでるとやっぱ山と遠いので、そこを本当に課題だなって思ってる時に、やっぱ食がツールになるっていうのは本当にその通りだなって思ったんですけど、なんかで健康的な食生活をしていれば環境に良いというか、環境も悪くならないみたいなコメントがすごい素敵だなと思ったんですけど、その時になんかよく20代の子とかに言われるのが、健康的な食って例えば有機野菜だったりとか、あと認証がついてるものとかだと全て高くなってしまう。 ってなった時に、じゃあ環境のことを考えてとか、再生農業みたいなものを応援するみたいな時に、全てコストに返ってきちゃって、できませんって言われる子にどうしたらいいですかってよく聞かれるんですけど、その答えを私いつも悩んでしまって答えられないんですけど、皆さんだったらどうお答えするのかっていうのだけちょっと伺いたいなと思いました。
非常に重要な質問ですね。So like she herself living in the urban area in Tokyo. So having listened to those she about Satoyama's perspective and so on, it's not that easy to visiting herself because being in the urban area in Tokyo. However, because what she could do to begin with is eating a healthy diet and also those the good a good food as organic based those are the vegetables or the meat or so on, and also some sort of certified by those ecological or this kind of items. However, because it comes to some question to when she talked to some different colleagues and friends about if we are really of course keen to taste and the buy the purchase those organic based vegetables, meat, and then those whatever those the ingredient, it comes to the cost concern because usually it comes to the very expensive than the regular other non-label vegetables and so on. So she wanted to understand what she wanted to ask you both. So how would you like to answer when it comes to the price, sort of the effectiveness, and how would you like to see when this the pricey versus those the healthy and also the concern or care about the natures?
Thank you for the question. Starting from the fact that as many people maybe have some difficulties maybe to visit some places, but at the hand also has, as she shared, choose what you buy, choose what you eat, make the difference. And we know that, all of us know that making the right choice and eat is a political act. So you are acting as a citizen that can influence the system, that the food system, that can influence also politicians. So even if we are not, anyone cannot visit some places, but can make a difference by choosing what to eat and what to buy first. Second, well, this is another huge topic. Prices, make food affordable with a high quality food. This is a huge topic. The point is, I don't want to go deeper in economical stuff and very difficult topics to explore in a few minutes or seconds. But the point is, food system can change if we little by little, if we start as small community to, if people can, to make the right choice and to buy. If we start to buy this kind of food, to explain the quality behind, to explain the healthiness behind this food, then if the community start growing, then also the other actors need to change, because they will change, and we see, because for many of them is economical fact. So, and in order to allow price to go down, we need to have also a mass decision, and a very the community should grow and make these choices, and then the last thought is having diversifying production, and thanks technology, thanks what the old ancient techniques and regenerative techniques. So mixing, not focusing only one thing, but acting with different in different aspects with different tools to allow to produce also high quality food.
そうですね。十分な情報がない中で、あまりコンセプトに振り回されなくていいんじゃないかなっていうのをいつも僕は伝えるんですね。つまり、オーガニックファーミングが、今日の文脈で言えば、観光農法よりもベターディスターバンスであるっていうのは、そうでもないです。正直言うと。世界的に見ても。そして、その日本のいわゆるオーガニックファーミングと多分アレサンドロの頭の中にあるイタリアのオーガニックファーミングはもう多分全然質が違います。基本的にアメリカのオーガニックファーミングのスタンダードとユーロのスタンダードとでアジアは統一規格がないのでまあめちゃくちゃなことがいろんなところで起きてます。で、オーガニックフードを食べれば健康になるというところも、なんていうんですかね、全然情報が足りてないところ。だから、その時に選べるものを選ぶっていうことと、一つのものだけを買うっていうことではないというふうにそこはもうアレサンドロの意見に僕もすごく同意していて、で、仮にこの野菜はこういうふうな農法で作られていて、この人が具体的に何をやってるかが分かっていて、つまり、この農法に行われるエコロジカルディスターバンスは、例えば生物多様性を上げていて、その周りのその畑を通った水は、よりきれいな水として地下水になってっていうようなところがあるんだったら、そういう場所に投資するっていうのは僕は非常に意味があると思うんですけど、それだけの情報がないときっていうのは、むしろ僕は様々なものを、本当、little bit of everything ですね、を買うっていうことがすごく大事だと思います。で、やっぱり日々の献立って大変なので、やっぱこう今月曜はこれ、火曜はこれぐらいは固定したいなっていうふうには思うと思うんですけど、で、かつスーパーに旬っていうものがなかなかないので、いつも同じものを同じ値段で買うみたいなことになっていくんですけど、僕はやっぱり、そこも、アレサンドロとちょっと同意なんですけど、やっぱりダイバーシティを持ち込むっていうことですね。で、僕も友人の、それこそ非常にオーガニックでやってて、使う素材から何からすごい気にしてパンを作ってる人がいて、で、その方が、いいもの食べてりゃ大丈夫っていうふうに思っちゃって、食べまくって糖尿病になったんですよ。で、ビールも作り始めたのに糖尿病になっちゃったみたいな。自分はなんか大きな間違いをしてたんじゃないかっていうことを書かれてたんですけど、だから、オーガニックだって別に、それ以前に僕らは生き物なので、人間なので、いろんなもの、いろんな要素、いろんなニュートリエンツが必要です。いろんなその経験が体に必要なときに、何か一つだけってさっき言ってましたよね。これだけみたいに固執してると、おそらくそれはリスクヘッジにもならないし、多様な、その消費活動にもならないっていうのはあるかなというふうに思うので、情報が本当にないです。まだまだ足りないです。僕は別にエビデンスがないから意味がないっていう気はないです。 ちょっとあれですけど、サイエンスっていうのは、何かを証明することってできないんですよ。よく科学的に証明されたっていう言葉が日本人大好きなんですね。scientifically proven とかって言うんですよ。でも、僕ら科学者がやってることっていうのは、科学的に考えて、ありとあらゆる可能性を検討していくんですね。ありとあらゆる可能性を検討するんだけど、いや、統計っていうものを使ってやってることは、これが正しい。
興味深い、示唆を共有くださってありがとうございます。2時間長いかなと思ったんですけども、あっという間に経ってしまいました。sorry, like I completely switched to my language. Like it's been like that I saw like it's already like 2 hours is up, and then actually I saw like the 2 hours is too long. However, it turned to be such like all of the insight from of course from the speakers and also from the floor. It was such a inspiring and then such like a sincere attitude. I was so impressed. And then actually I wanted to thank to the Mr. Sawada. He is the main, actually the great contributor to the living lab in Kyobashi. He's from the Tokyo Tatemono and also the Tokyo Food Institute, who are really contributing to how to create this living lab. And also the thanks to the Virginia, who is also coming all the way from Italy, and also the supporting for the events to making them very fruitful, and also the photographer.
And thank you, Maya, for
yes, and also like
narrating,
such a,
facilitating,
such
and
a-
translating.
and such a fruitful opportunity to get together today.
Yeah.
And then actually, this is not the last. Actually, this is the beginning to like we get together, and then like we can continue like discussing also maybe because of the as a future food, our one of the pillar is like how to create in a community, and also like how the community can be educated and the sharing the also the knowledge and also the insight, just like what we did it today. And also this helps the many different next step and also what it is the next action for our daily life, just to see of the like what's the regenerative approaches to the precious planet. So thank you so much everyone
Thank you.
for sharing
ありがとうござい
all
ます。
your
Thank you.
thought. ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。